Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. This will be our last video in this breathwork series. While today's technique is not necessarily a breathwork technique, I felt that it was something that was important and could be helpful, so I wanted to share it with you. But before I share that technique with you, I wanted to show you something else that I neglected to mention last week. I wanted to share a meditation series. It is a mindfulness meditation series that has been very, very helpful for me, that I use when I'm having a very, very stressful time and I'm having trouble falling asleep. This is something that I will actually listen to, and I'm going to try to make sure it will show up on camera here. And it is by Jon Kabat-Zinn, and it is a guided mindfulness meditation. And there are a bunch of different CDs in this one. You can probably download it now as just an MP3, but this is a series that I will listen to again and again. I will specifically do the full body meditation, or there's one that's a seated meditation. We might possibly say seated yoga, and I do both of those, and you don't have to actually be doing yoga. I just find the whole entire process and just his voice overall is very soothing and very, very calming. I used it a lot during COVID, which I know was a stressful time for a lot of people. So I just wanted to mention that so I don't forget to share that with you all. And now, the technique that I wanted to show to you today is, I guess we can refer to it as like an instant reverse. And I will say that this is not something that you're going to use because you're trying to disregard how you're feeling, but this is something that you can use when you're in the midst of presenting or having a conversation, and suddenly something is said or something triggers you to become very emotional. In acting, this is used when you are in a scene and you're just being very emotionally present, which is part of what makes a really great actor, and you get suddenly too emotional. Maybe you are really starting to cry a whole lot and you need to pull yourself back, and it just came on and kind of caught you off guard, and that's okay. You just need to pull yourself back out of that moment. And so what you will do is you'll just take a breath, and then you go and you say the alphabet backwards. So if I'm speaking and I'm feeling suddenly very emotional and it's catching me off guard and it's not where I wanted to go, then I would just start saying the alphabet backward here. Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T. And then that will pull you out of whatever extreme emotional feeling you're having, because it's putting you back in your logical mindset. And that is really, really helpful. Obviously, in acting, again, if you're suddenly getting very, very emotional in a scene where you don't want to be, somehow something is triggering you and bringing back a memory or an emotion. And this can happen to us in everyday life as well. The thing I want to stress here is that this is not meant to disregard a feeling or a situation that does need to be dealt with. This is just something that can help pull you out for a second, and maybe you need to go to the restroom or go to your car or wherever it is and find a safe space to be in for that moment and just, recover. The moment when I found that it was a little bit harder was when I lost someone very near and dear to me in my life. And I would find myself sometimes starting to tear up when I didn't mean to be tearing up. And it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but I could pull myself back out of that emotional situation by using this technique. You'll also see athletes do something similar. You may recall a couple Winter Olympics ago, there was an athlete that would do crossword puzzles, I believe, while she was waiting for her turn for downhill skiing. And it's that same logic. You're taking yourself from the emotional part of your brain into a more logical portion of your brain. So I would recommend just running through that. You don't have to be in a really emotional state or anything like that. And again, please, know this is not to disregard emotions. It's just to pull you back if you suddenly feel like your emotions are getting the best of you for whatever reason, and you need to just pull back for a second and go to the bathroom or go to your car or whatever space you need to go into, just to give yourself a moment to recover, and then make sure you address those feelings in that situation later. So I would recommend just giving that a try and seeing how that works for you this week. And thank you again for joining me on this series.